You're not selling a product, you're selling an emotion. Everything on this planet reflects and is about emotion.
I'm Bryce Gracie, host of the EZee E-Commerce podcast, and this podcast is dedicated to boosting your trajectory towards international success through connecting you with e-commerce and Amazon experts, all with something different to offer. Today we spoke with Marcel from intelliRANK about everything to do with your product when it comes to launching, testing, and brand exposure through micro-influencers, and how leveraging just a little bit of emotion into the branding of your product can be the make or break of your product. But obviously I'm not going to give away too much now. You must stay tuned to listen in for all the tips and tricks. Welcome back to the EZee E-Commerce podcast. This episode is dedicated to your product, and this means everything to do with testing, launching, and ensuring visibility of your product. We are joined today by the CEO of intelliRANK, who has tremendous experience in information technology as well as the e-commerce industry. And he is our expert today. Welcome to the show, Marcel. How are you doing?
Hey, Bryce, thank you. I'm doing okay, I could say. I'm recovering, but I'm okay. I hope my voice will not be a problem during this interview. I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me. It's a joy to be part of your podcast and to spread the love. So I hope your audience will get some pretty nice information and useful tips on this episode.
No doubt. And if anything, the after effects of COVID gives like a really, really like precise voice. So it's actually good. Take advantage of it while you can.
So this is the COVID voice, yeah?
Yeah.
Perfect. We'll take advantage of it,
Marcel, can you just start us off by telling us and me a little bit about yourself and about intelliRANK and your guys' journey up until now?
Mm-hmm. So, my name is Marcel Marculescu, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of intelliRANK. Now, first of all, I'm an Amazon seller myself. I started back in 2017, so that's when we enrolled on the Amazon journey. And we went with the left foot, so to speak, into this business because we ended up losing a lot of money with the first product. So, it was an interesting journey, and it taught us a lot. And because of my IT, background, I'm used with IT. I'm used to troubleshooting. So my previous job was a backup architect. So I was to develop all the, strategy in terms of backup for enterprises. And this means disaster recovery and everything. So I have to pay attention to details, which led to be a very good asset when it comes to businesses in general. Because here, you just run into different type of problems that you never expect. With Amazon, we, did a poor product research, apparently. We ended up in a very competitive niche. We didn't have the knowledge. We didn't have the skills. And we ended up losing some money on the first product. But that didn't stop us. We went forward, and I went in debt. I went to the bank. I got more money to source more products. I went on the market with 2 more products within the same niche. And from that point on, the journey started. The problem that came, and this is how our micro-influencers program was developed out of the crisis situation. I was with inventory on the Amazon platform, with everything set and ready to go, but sales were not coming in. So I didn't have any more money for PPC. And as everyone knows, PPCs can get quite expensive. And so I had to think like outside the box and, switch to a different solution. At that time, we went on social media, more exactly on Instagram, and started, building slowly a brand on Instagram. So what we did will be explained in the video here. It's really a low-hanging fruit for everyone to look into. I encourage you to definitely be on Instagram and everywhere else on any social media platform, because that's where your end customer is. Especially imagine now with the pandemics and everything. People are staying at home, what they were doing. They were actually, staying on social media. They were, going on Netflix. So all sorts of things. So you have to present your product to the customer. So in order to do that, that's a very good place to start. And yeah, we'll slowly get into that to give you a little bit of tips and tricks. But most importantly, I want to emphasize on branding, because branding is like something that people overlook. And it's very, very important to pay attention to your branding, because in the end, people are not purchasing a single product. They are purchasing a brand, you know.
If we also have to like jump to the micro influencers already, it's also associating yourself and associating that brand with someone that you trust with a decent social media following as well. That's a very similar kind of branding itself.
Exactly. Actually, it's, you know, on Maslow's pyramid of needs, this is the need of belonging. Each and every one of us has this need. So we all want to associate ourselves to belong to a group. So in order to belong, for example, to a group of, you know, sport athletes that, you know, are practicing, I don't know, let's say running every day, you will, you know, follow those kind of people, and you will want to, you know, look at what they're wearing, how they're dressing, and how they're behaving. Yeah, and you want to be like them, yeah, in order to, you know, confirm yourself as part of the group. It's actually the you know, the friends, the reference group, and usually reference group influences buyer behavior. This is very important because, like I said, the branding itself is injected into your brain, and you will do automatic things without, you know, thinking why you're purchasing, you know, an Adidas shoe or whatever for running. Or maybe I'm an Under Armour fan, for example. So I love the brand, especially the Rock project. So I purchase pretty much everything that comes on the market from, you know, the Rock, because I associate myself with that kind of attitude and whatever he stands for. So in the end, people are, you know, overlooking the long journey, and the long journey implies branding, implies credibility and trust. So yeah, this is pretty much the whole idea behind the micro influencers. And now we'll slowly get into things, and how we'll arrange it in order to understand the process.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, if we maybe take a little bit of a step back, I'm very curious to know what that first product was that failed for you guys, and the steps that you missed with product research that prompted you to help everyone else not make that same mistake.
Okay, so it was a seasonal product. It was a blanket that it was very foldable, very small, that you could take to the beach with you, and you can unpack it and pack it very, very fast. It was very thin, and to be honest, whenever I'm going on trips, I use it. So it's a great product. But back then, what we didn't know is that the competition and everyone that we looked into, they were outside Amazon. Apart from the fact that they were selling very much on Amazon, established, well known, and with a history, they were also outside Amazon, and they had a name for themselves. And people were overlooking that step. I was overlooking that step at a certain point in time, and we ended up shipping the product to Amazon, having it on Amazon, and then we didn't make it move. So you can have the best product on the market. You can have the perfect product. If your marketing, let's say it's not so good, or not your marketing, your budget, first of all, advertising budget, and skills to know where to go and what to do in order to build your brand and let people know how to take advantage of your product, to solve a need for them actually. That's something that's very important. And back then we ended up, it was a fiasco. Everything with that year was crazy. I remember it was like a huge hurricane in the US. So when it was like, people were not, I'm not saying they were not going on the beach, but they were focusing on other things, definitely. So nevertheless, it was, let's say, a poor product research. I admit that. I know that. And I wanted to get on the market as fast as possible because I was into the Amazon rush, so to speak, like the gold rush. Yeah. And at that time, we sourced the product, like I said, and I want to emphasize on this thing, because everyone is starting in a certain way, and we go to China and we put a logo on the product and that's it, and we ship it to the US. So it's a very good start. It's perfectly okay. But in the end, it's important to focus on that brand to deliver more value, to, deliver the right message to your customers in order for them to, love your brand, to place your brand. Depends what type of brand you want to position yourself as. So it can be a premium brand. In that case, everything has to be premium, including the photography on your listing, including the product, not to mention, and everything. The price has to reflect the premium area. So everything has to match. And this comes from making a very good product research, a very good product, and of course everything related to that to make it available on the Amazon Marketplace in a good manner. Yeah.
So when it comes to branding, I guess there's so many different ways to brand your product. And in my mind, I have two different ways that you could possibly target a certain individual. It would either be through like straight up utility, so what the actual product will be used for, or like the emotional aspect, targeting the way the product makes someone feel. Which do you think is the first one to look at, or the most important one of those two? Tough question and very out of the blue, but I'm just very curious.
I see it as an easy question, and I'll answer it. It's as simple as one single factor every time: emotions. You're not selling a product, you're selling an emotion. Everything on this planet reflects and is about emotion. Nobody cares about other things. If you have a problem, then of course you have a bad emotion that you need to solve. So everything comes from the emotional part. Whenever you're going to a movie, right? You're going to watch a movie, you're going for what? You're going to get that emotion into you. So we are emotion-centric as human beings. And in the end, everyone is looking to get an emotion out of your product. Now, the fact that you're trying to, send that emotion to the person for them to understand, that's the tricky and, let's say, more hard to achieve, but it's not impossible. What requires for you is to know your avatar client, to know who you're talking to know what kind of person he or she is, and based on that, to actually deliver the right way of your. For example, when we are onboarding a new client on the micro influencers program, we are asking them we have a set of questions on onboarding process, and we're very interested in the tone of voice that we should use whenever we're posting on their behalf. So the tone of voice and how you formulate things on social media in order for the audience to understand what you're saying. Because some people, prefer maybe like a friendly tone of voice, other a more aggressive one. For example, if you're talking to gym, addicts and stuff like that, they want more aggressive tone of voice to reflect power and everything. So it's really into the area of your end customer, and branding should be included, and should include also all these small details. And not to mention the colors that you're using on your logo, the name of everything starts from the name. People maybe don't give too much, aspects or too much. They don't put too much pressure on the name, but the naming is also important. So everything is important when constructing and creating a brand. But it's something we're learning on the road. It's definitely something that can be done. And if you don't know it, you can learn from any video or any information out there, because right now the important factor is that we have access to information. Everything is out there. So
Exactly. Okay, so I'm an Amazon seller who's got a product sourced from China, possibly, has an idea of the branding behind it and the tone of voice to use. What is generally the first thing or the process of product testing that the wonderful people at intelliRANK do from a product testing perspective for a new product launch?
So we have two services. The product testing service is different. It's a different service. And then we have the micro-influencer service. So there are two different services. Now, if you ask me, my personal opinion, when it comes to launching a product on any platform or even on your own website, implies, having all the data and first of all, start on social media, start posting. posting and posting and posting. The more you post, the better. Just to get audience, to get people to be interested, you don't have to post anything about your product, or you can post your product, but there are different type of posts you can make relevant for your niche, for your product. Prepare, so to speak, the arrival of the product and get some following. Now, the next step would be, for the product to reach Amazon. And in that particular case, it's from my experience, again, it's important. It's only one aspect that matters: to get sales every single day. So that's the most important part, because even if you're talking about Amazon, Walmart, EZee, it's about the ranking, the position of your product when it comes to a customer. If you're selling, and I love to give this example, if you're selling, let's say, fishing equipment, let's say you're sourcing a fishing rod, and it's part of your dream to help the fishermen out there and provide them with quality tools to use during their fishing trips. If you are to start from this point, the idea is to find people, and we encourage everyone to look at it as on the long run, to find micro influencers that and I will define what a micro influencer is, because this is very important. We are looking at people, regular people like you and me, with a following from 1,000 to 100,000 followers that have a very, let's say, clear message for your niche. So in this case, if you'd be selling, let's say, fishing equipment, a fishing rod, you'll be looking for fishermen. You'll be looking for people that love fishing, that go on fishing trips, post pictures with the bigger or smaller fish that they catch. Their audience are engaging, of course, on those posts, and that's the best candidate that you can have. And a regular person, not a professional influencer, but I'm not saying that's wrong to target a professional influencer. It's even better. But usually with professional influencers, they are asking for money. Now, the idea is to, and this is the product we've developed, rolling back to my story when I didn't have any more money for PPC. We were looking for people within the niche that, wanted to receive one free product, and in return to post and tag our brand in the process in front of their audience. Now, the whole idea is for the brand and for the products to be displayed out there, for people to see the products and to, follow the brand. In the end, to get familiar with the brand. In the marketing books, they say that in order to get to a purchase decision, usually people need to interact with the brand like 5-7 times. So you're not expecting sales right away. That's a big problem with let's say with people nowadays, because everyone wants sales, KPIs. Okay, I'm putting this much money. How much am I going to sell? It's a process. The branding itself doesn't reflect in sales right now. But if you're doing a good job and you're perseverant, and there are two words that I like. It's perseverance. That's very important, and it's actually persistence. And the other word I'm forgetting right now. I have a lapsus. Bear with me. The COVID is working here, so it's affecting my memory. Consistently persistent. So these are the two words: consistently persistent. This is what you need to actually have in your business, and to be consistent and persistent in everything that you do. It's how you're building a brand, and how people get to know you, get to follow you, get to look at your product, test it. Of course, everything comes from the premise that we're talking about a good product. But going back to the launch strategy, as soon as your products reach on your Amazon marketplace, we encourage everyone to start a product testing campaign. And product testing implies, finding people each day to purchase your product. And the idea behind it is to provide you with information, with feedback in terms of a survey. And this is what our service actually does. We are running surveys for our clients and asking the clients questions regarding your product. They can be default questions that we recommend, or anything that the seller wants to find out. For example, a crazy question is, what would be the keywords to define this product if you were to go to Amazon and buy such a product? How would you try to find it, based on your experience right now with the product? Because then this is a very good way to harvest new keywords and to know how people are actually searching. Because in my mind, if I'm, an entrepreneur, I can think of some ways, or I can use some tools to find more information about that. But it's always important to see how the actual people that are using that product are feeling about it. So it's all sorts of information that are very important. And the most important part is to get momentum going and get sales in on your Amazon account, because in the end, Amazon will put in front of the customers products that sell, products that are good, that get in good reviews. Everything has to be the signals that have to be okay for Amazon to promote that product and push more and more sales your way. And this is what you're looking for. So yeah. So
we've got the testing done, and I think it's quite clear now how intelliRANK can help with that aspect. But how do you find a micro-influencer? How do you, you've obviously given the definition, but how do you find that?
That's a very good question. Within the agency, we are doing this manually. We have, let's say, micro-influencer hunters in our agency that are, looking into Instagram. And this is what I'm going to explain the next moments. They're looking into Instagram and they're finding for the right micro-influencer for your brand. Now, this is a strategy that we are, let's say, importing from the Amazon marketplace. With Amazon, we're starting from the keywords, and based on the keywords, we are finding the right, let's say, area to see the competitors, to see everything. So it's important to know our niche on the marketplace. On Instagram, we're starting from the hashtags. So the hashtags will be the actual keywords, and afterwards, we'll find the entire list. We need lists. We need a list of hashtags that are relevant for our product. That's very important. We start from that. We build a list. Now, the good part is that Instagram helps you out, and whenever you're, opening a hashtag, it has relevant hashtags, other hashtags that are relevant to the one that you're looking for, that you can open and you can look inside to see whatever people are posting and tagging into each of those hashtags. You are creating your hashtag list, and as soon as you have that list ready, it's most important to post, and add the hashtags, create a hashtag strategy, and add the hashtags with every post that you make. Now, one important factor here would be to also check out your competition. Your competitors are most likely on social media. It can be, on Instagram. We can talk about, Pinterest. We can talk about TikTok, Twitter, whatever marketplace, whatever area would be best suited for you. But from our experience, Instagram, covers pretty much all the niches. And so far from our experience, we haven't found a niche, except for maybe NFTs. Yeah, it's so with NFTs. They're just starting with Instagram. But if you want to talk about NFTs, you go on Twitter, If it's that simple to know exactly what you're looking for. But if you're selling a physical product, and most of the people, this is what they're doing within the Amazon space, you should definitely research your niche on Instagram. Now, as soon as you have the hashtag strategy, you will be posting and tagging those hashtags, and the idea would be to dominate. Start from maybe the long tail ones, so to speak, from the Amazon platform, the ones with less postings, and try to dominate them. And to dominate a hashtag means to be, on the top posts of that specific hashtag. So it's quite of let's say a ranking mechanism, of course, on the hashtags as well. And you should try to be on as many as possible. And within those hashtags, you will find people posting and using those hashtags, and those can be your potential micro-influencers. Now, in order to find the appropriate and the right micro-influencer for your brand, it's important to open their profile and check some things. Now, I would start from the engagement rate. So an engagement of a minimum 5% is very important. Why? Because we want to make sure that their following is authentic enough and it's active enough and relevant enough. So if we're going back to our fishing rod example, if they're fishermen and they're posting from their fishing trips, we want to see at least 5% of their friends to interact, to like, and to comment, of course, on their fishing trips posts. And based on that, and of course, we also look at the language the micro-influencer is using. We're looking at what they're commenting and their friends are commenting and what kind of friends they have. So it's a process. And if that particular micro-influencer turns out to be a good candidate, we go ahead and message them, and it's a normal conversation from there on. You're not trying to, intimidate anyone. You're just trying to offer them with one free product, and in return ask them to post in front of their following. And of course, if they're happy, because we've also had micro-influencers that they said, I don't like it, it's this and that. And no problem. If you don't like it, you can keep it or you can throw it away. We've tried it. It's part of the process. Yeah. But this is good information, and we're trying to get feedback for the sellers so they know how some people feel about their product, because in that particular case, they can improve something. I don't know. And if they're happy, they just make a photo or a couple of photos or a video, and they post it in front of their following while tagging the brand. So this is the entire process. It's really straightforward. It's an easy to do. You can do it yourself if you have the time. You can hire a VA if that's something you like. You can hire an agency. It doesn't have to be intelliRANK. You can hire any agency to help you and to get yourself on the social media platforms and get yourself present, because the next step after this is to, create a database of people that are interested in your product. And guess what? When you'll be launching product number 2 on your brand, this will be the first people to, interact with and help you spread the word about everything. And imagine creating an army of voices, of people that will talk about your products. Whenever you'll be launching a new product, every one of them will be more than happy to post and to test your products for free and spread the word and, get you exposure and a lot of people to see what you're doing. And it's a process. It's incredible. But I'm thinking right now, because it's, I don't know if today or sometime, depends when this will roll out. But now in September, Apple will be launching their new devices, right? So everyone is crazy to see whatever they're coming up with, whatever they're doing. Imagine the years of branding that Apple has invested in their products, and how people are reacting to that. The emotion everyone feels, because in the end, it's not about the technology itself, it's about the emotion, the new device, whatever they're putting on the market. That can be any Amazon seller on the market, as long as they are consistently persistent.
Exactly. Wow. Well, that is truly amazing. I think it's a completely different way of looking at a new product to launch. Not only looking at the numbers, but actually using the numbers as like a base, and then using emotion and branding to kind of add to that base. And that's really fantastic. But Marcel, just wrapping up, I think post this podcast, a lot of people are going to want to get in touch with you just after this conversation. I'm sure it's going to be some valuable information shared. But where can listeners find you online? Where's the best place for them to contact you?
Yeah, we also have a free ebook that we're giving away with some very nice tips on how to get started on Instagram, and we encourage everyone to try it out. It can be found on microinfluencers together .intellirank.info. We'll put the info also in the description. And we're available online on the www.intellirank.info. You can reach us through email at office@intellirank.info. And we're more than happy to answer any questions that might come after this podcast. Sure, why not?
Brilliant. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on board, Marcel. I think it's obvious that everything that you've said can be easily applied by a normal Amazon seller by themselves. But it looks like you guys have already created such a good, I want to say, depository of influencers, such a good network. And you've gone through the mistakes before, and you know the best ways to do it now. And just hearing you speak about the emotion that goes into a product, and giving a lot of optimism to Amazon sellers who who at one stage wants to create an empire like Apple have. And it's just about associating that emotion to the utility of the product and creating that hype and that community of following around that product, which I think is something that intelliRANK will definitely help to do. So thank you so much for being on this podcast. I hope to have you on again in the future. And yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, and yeah, good luck in the future.
Thanks for watching the EZee E-Commerce podcast. Click here for more episodes and follow us on our socials link below. And of course, don't forget to like and subscribe.